Hello everyone, this is ECAbrams, and in this After Effects tutorial, we're going to take a look at the most basic building block of life, the shape layer. And while it might not be for you, I know for me, in almost every motion graphics piece, I am using shape layers. And what you're looking at here is not a 3D thing, it's actually just a bunch of 2D shape layers moving over top of each other, creating the illusion of depth. And that's exactly what we're going to do when we go deep into the basics of these shape layers. So right here in After Effects, I want to first go through what you saw in that intro file. Here we are in that exact composition, and I'll just drag through it. Some things build on, and then they loop, and then they stop. And all of this is caused, a lot of that motion is caused by this null that things are parented to. And all of the interesting stuff is happening in this composition here, this DNA chain. And all of that is controlled. Its time here is being controlled by time remapping, and that's what causes it to slow down. But if we go inside that composition, you can see it's just made of many duplicates of the same composition that are offset in space and time, and they've got their own little time remapping that is also looping. If we did nothing, it would just loop all the way until the end of time. And if we go into one of these, then we can really see where the stuff happens. We've got just these two circles that rotate around each other, they're really just moving sideways, and we're flipping them and being clever, and it's super good. But that is what we're going to start by making. We're going to start by making the smallest unit of this more complicated piece. And I'd recommend, from project standpoint, always starting with the smallest, most basic unit. So the first thing to do is to make a new composition, and we'll call it comp 1. Doesn't really matter. You might want to label it something so you know that this is the smallest unit, and its duration is not super important, except that you want it to go for as long as you need to produce that looping, and the frame rate might actually be important. For us, we're using 29.97 blah blah blah, but you could use 30, 24, but the big thing is you want to have good control over this and understand how many frames are going to happen a second, because we're going to need to count out some halves and thirds and whatever. So, 30 is a nice number. It divides nicely in half at 15. We're going to be good to go. So we've got a new comp. We're making that. Great. Now we need to start making the actual shape layer parts of this little sequence. So we need that rectangle in the middle that kind of spins around. So what we're going to do is going to make a new rectangle. Sweet. Pick a better color for it, maybe just a lighter color, maybe something closer to a yellow. Okay, sweet. It'll go into that rectangle size, and I already know some sizes, so we're going to go 310 by 40, and quite frankly, you might be using different sizes, but in order for this to kind of work out and line up, I'm going to have to call out a bunch of numbers. I'm usually very anti-recipe, so when you do yours, feel free to do whatever numbers you want, and I'll try to explain why we're doing what we're doing. But in this case, we've got this size, 310 by 40, and I'm going to set some markers on the timeline before we get into keyframes. I want to set a marker here at 2 seconds, and I want to set a marker at 4 seconds. And I'm just hitting the asterisk on the keyboard to make that happen. And I'm doing this so that these markers will be present when I use this comp later, and you'll see how that goes. But you can double click on a marker and type something like loop start, and then you'll probably want to know when the loop ends. Those are two good things to know. And we're really just setting ourselves up to know that the loop should start here and end here. And to that end, let's set some keyframes for what that might be. The rectangle size we want to change, because imagine that this is a cylinder and it's rotating. And that means that if this is rotating, then it should appear to get narrower and then wider. So at the start and end, it should be this wide. And in the middle, it should also be this wide, because we're going to go once, twice around. So this way and then this way again. And then in the middle, like we talked about, knowing the half values of these things should be 0. So it's going to go weird, and then again at the 15 here, go back to 0 like that. So it's going to go weird. Okay, good enough. Now that's not really a cylinder, is it really? Because you really need the circular ends on it. So let's get those going on. Let's add an ellipse to this. And we're adding that ellipse into the group of rectangle 1. So this should really be cylinder 1. I don't know. Is that how you spell cylinder? Could be. And so the ellipse path here, you're going to need to change its size, 40 by 40. It's a good size. And maybe unlink that, because at this point here, that's perfectly good. So let's set a keyframe at here and here when we're looking at, I guess, the end of the cylinder. But when we're looking at the side of it, we wouldn't see the end at all. So it would be totally flat like that. And also its position would change to be at the end of this. So what I would like to do instead of keyframing the position all the time, because that would annoy me, is I'm going to hold down Alt, click on the stopwatch, and set an expression, then use the pick whip here, and pick whip it to the first part of the rectangle path up there. Now that's going to create a little expression for us here saying a variable named temp is equal to the content blah blah blah, essentially this number, and then please make this value, I guess, that number comma that number, which is not what we want. We want that number comma 0, but what we actually want is that number divided by 2 comma 0. So what that means is that this is going to be found at 155.0, which oddly enough is at the end, and it will always be at the end, and that's exactly where we would like it to be. Now I'm just going to duplicate that path, boom, and make a little change here to get that cylinder onto the other end. So now you can see we've kind of got these two caps, and I'm sure if one of them was shaded, we might be able to say that's a cylinder. We're not going to be shading it because that, again, is too much work. No thanks. I'm just going to hit U, grab these two keyframes, copy them, paste them over here, paste them over here so that we've got this whole thing going. So that could possibly be a cylinder. I don't know. Again, it's not very good, but I'm going to easy ease these keyframes. You do that by selecting keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, or you can hit F9 after you've selected them. That's good too, because I want sort of an easier motion about it. I want it to just spin around, kind of pause here in the middle before accelerating and moving on with its day. The next component, obviously, is to get some of those circles. We should get those going on. So let's grab the old circles here. I like to just double click on that. Let's give it another color. Let's give it like a blue color. That's nice. A nice bright blue. Cool. And I think we should probably label these things correctly. Like this is going to be blue and this is going to be the middle piece. And, you know, it should probably be a different color, maybe a peach. I don't know. But what I want to do is go into the ellipse here and I want to alter it to be 100 by 100. And what it should be doing is changing its position. So I'm just hitting P to call up that position. And the position is going to be changing. So I'm just going to set some keyframes because what we are going to have this do is move from over here at 760, and then it'll move all the way over to the other side where it'll be at 1160, and then it should move back. Copy, paste, copy that first keyframe. So it's going to move over like this and then back, and these should be eased as well. Go in there, make sure you've eased those to look like this on your speed graph. So so that looks kind of like it's waving back and forth. So it's not really crossing over. That's fine. So what we can do is Command Shift duplicate to split that layer right there, and then move one below like this so that it's coming over here and then it's switching to the other side and going back. Pretty great. Now we're going to duplicate this again, and this is going to be a red. Let's do that, and so we should name it red. Well done. And then we should change its color. The color should be like a red or a pink or something like that. Maybe down in the oranges zone. That's probably better. And it should be, if I call up its position, and just extend this a little bit so we can see what it's actually doing, it should be doing the reverse. So we're just going to grab these, drag them like this, copy this keyframe and paste it over here. So what it's doing is the reverse. It's flipping around the other way, and we're going to need to split that layer and then take this one and put it under like this. So what's going on is it's switching the sides as it goes around. So that's pretty much the old beginning here, but the old end here, and we watch that back. Whee! it's just going around and around, and we've pretty much done it. So it's almost like this might be a three-dimensional thing made entirely out of two-dimensional things, and it's working out. But I don't think it's quite done. It's not quite great. We really need an in for this, right? These need to come from somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that we have a full loop here at the beginning to play with. So we've got the red one's doing it. I'm just going to copy this keyframe and paste it here so that it's doing that. Let's copy these, copying, pasting, and so we've got one extra to deal with, and we should do a little split here so that it's switching over like that. So it's we're good. Okay, I think that's working out for right now. What we're going to need to do now is have these come on in a slightly interesting way. I think, let me first grab them, holding down Alt, and I'll just kind of extend this a little bit so that it's going a little bit slower and then speeds up when it really gets into the heart of it. And what I would like to do is have these things sort of scale themselves on. I want them to like pop on with their scale. So I'm going to hit S here, pull up the scale, set a little keyframe, and move that ahead so it's 100% at that point. It could be 0% here. And what I'll do is I'll go into the graph editor, which I'm accessing. You can click this. I have a shortcut for the graph editor, but whatever. Just click this, go to the graph editor, and instead of looking at a speed graph, let's look at a value graph. We can see that the value graph is telling us in a straight line it's going up like this. Well, I'm going to easy ease both of these. Ease both of these, that rhymes with this button, or use your favorite shortcut. And I'm just going to pull this handle across, and I'm going to push this handle up. So on the value graph, what that's telling us is it's going to come up, get larger, and then reduce back to regular size, I guess, pop. It's kind of like this popping sensation. And we can maybe shorten that up and see if we can get that to look a little bit crisper as it comes on. Cool, I think that's working out. And I'd like it to be popping on when it's already in motion. Great. Now I'm going to copy that scale, copy it, paste it onto this other one so it pops on, and then this one can start coming in like that. So pop, plop. Maybe I drag these a little bit like so it's popping off the other side. Great. And then this can just begin right there. So we've got that comes up, and then that comes up, and then things are going. So I think that's a decent enough way for things to work out. I think I'm happy with how that worked. So we need to take this composition, which we know as the smallest unit, and we need to take this and put it into a group. So we're going to just drag it into a new composition. And just like I promised, if you look here, you can see markers saying when the loop will start, when it will end, and we will now go layer, time, enable time remapping, and we're going to set up that loop. I'm going to hit the keyframe button here because I'm at the loop start point. I'm going to go to the loop end point and set one there as well. And then I'm going to go to the last keyframe by clicking this little triangle and remove that. So without doing anything, what's happening is things are playing normally. This comes on, and then it turns around, and then it does nothing because there's no more keyframe to tell it what time to be. And what I need to do is I need to hold down Alt, click on this stopwatch, and do some typing. I'm going to type LOOP, capital OUT, and then some brackets. And inside those brackets, some colons. And inside those, well, I guess they're quotes. Yeah, quote, quote. Inside those quotes is going to be cycle. And what that's telling it is that just cycle through all of the things from the first keyframe to the last, which is not exactly what we want because we only want to cycle these two keyframes. We want to cycle this one and this one. So we're going to put comma and then a 1. And that's saying cycle the last keyframe and the second last one, please. If we wanted to do more of them, we could increase the number, we could decrease the number depending on how many keyframes there are. But that means that it's going to go right back to this one as soon as it's done. So it continues. And that's not too bad. What I'd like to do though is go ahead a few frames and stretch that out. So I'm stretching that out so it goes a little bit slower. And what that'll do is kind of just smooth it out a little bit, and it kind of gets rid of some of those awkward, like the frames where this thing's just a circle. I don't like those ones. So this means that that frame won't be shown anymore. It's going to show a different frame. It'll show in between frames of everything we did in here, because it's all keyframes and shape layers and everything's great and sizing wonderfully. And if we just stretch this out, we can just make it go in slow motion just by moving the time remapping. And it looks very smooth because it's all keyframes all throughout. So that's pretty great. Okay, one loop is established. Now we need to duplicate this and offset it in time and distance. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to hold down Alt and hit page down once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And then I'm going to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 60, 120 pixels up. And so now you can see, oh yeah, now it's starting to look like a thing, I guess. I mean, we'd have to duplicate it and continue on this pattern over and over again, duplicating, moving, duplicating, until we have a very large set of stairs that would look like this, so that all of these things are offset from each other a bunch, and they are offset from each other in time. All regular units, though. So you go ahead and make yours like mine, and I'll get back to you after this break. Hopefully yours looks like mine in that you've got this big series of steps and they're all offset from each other in space and time. We're now ready to go ahead and make use of this. One thing I think you might want to do is maybe set a marker out here that is to say animation on complete, so you know when everything has been completed for when we take the group and put it into a composition to do something with it. So at this point, we know we want to do something interesting with it. How about we make a new null object, we parent this to that, and then we have this scale and rotate, keyframe, move ahead to like 10 seconds or something. And we're going to have the scale go all the way down to like 25 and have this go to like, I don't know, this is pretty good. There we go. 315. And we go into their graph editor. We look at the speed graph, not the value graph, and push the speed to look like this. Ooh, not like that. Like this. Or maybe you use a script to do this. I don't know what you do. I don't know your business. But yeah, see, we've got this weep things coming on. What we can do is we can find the start of this, trim it up to there, go like this. So it's, ooh, that's pretty fun. Now you'll notice that we're only seeing part of this stuff. In here, there's so much more that we could be seeing. So in this composition, you have to make sure you click this button here, the continuous rasterization collapse transformation button, which is what will expand things so you can see all the cool stuff you got going on. It's really important to see all the cool stuff. So this is spiraling, it's turning, it's building this thing. But one of the problems we're going to have now is that it keeps going. That's not what we want at all. What we do want to do is go in here, layer, time, enable time remapping, and we're going to set a keyframe down here. We're going to go ahead a few frames, 30 frames maybe, set another keyframe, and we're going to delete the keyframe at the end so that after this keyframe, no more moving. And then we will ease this, and let's just move ahead. Let's double that distance or double that time. So when we go into the graph editor, and perhaps we look at a speed graph instead, we can see here that this is now slowing down as it exits this keyframe here. So what we want to do is probably check out the old speed graph, grab this thing, move it up to there. Probably want to double click on it and make it continuous, meaning the incoming and outgoing speed will be the same. And then we just kind of have to tweak this a little bit, I think, to get it exactly how we would like, because I kind of want a soft landing for this thing. And then we go into the value graph. There's your problem right there. You want to have a nice soft taper So when it's done, it has that slowing down, starting to slow down, and then it eventually comes to rest, and that's exactly what we want. And you might want to tweak these handles just a little bit of tweaking on the handles, tweak. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. Fine. And then put in some text and whatever the crap else you want. But I think we're pretty much done. We've got this thing animating on and then looping, and it's doing all the things. I'm happy with this. We've conveyed the illusion of depth, just the same way I provide the illusion of depth at parties by going on Wikipedia and looking at a bunch of things before I show up. It's really important to have things to talk about. That's pretty much it. If you have questions about this project, then please ask them in the comments. I'd love to help you get through it, and share what you make with the shape layers as you convey the illusion of depth. I'd love to see what you guys are making. That would be great. If you enjoyed this, if you like to learn about After Effects and motion graphics and this was good for you, then please subscribe to this channel. We put up new stuff here as often as is possible, I guess. I'm trying to do them once a week, so let's see how that goes. If you have questions about After Effects, motion graphics in general, hit me up on Facebook or on the Twitter at ECAbrams on there. Links in the description. The project file that we just worked on, that we just did right now, is available at evanAbrams.com, so check that out if you're interested. Subscribe to this channel to learn about After Effects and motion graphics, motion design. It's what we talk about all the time. And if you subscribe to the channel, then I will see you around the internet. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.